And,
Just let the question be spontaneous.
yes, whatever comes to my mind.
Yeah.
How do you resurrect life?
What do you define that? What do you mean? Do you mean bring somebody back
Yes,
from
to
death?
life. Yes.
Why would you do that? As I
don't
said
know.
before, the
I
body
thought-
will live as long as it lives. There's no need to either extend life or to bring it back from what is called death, because really there is no such thing as death. There's no such thing as birth either. You know, this body mind is simply illusory in an illusionary world. Why bother? You know, it will pass on, die, appear to die. You see, nobody actually experiences death. I think I've mentioned this before. And you see, the fear of death is really the cause of every other fear, and it practically shapes everyone's lives, this fear of death. And they are so terribly wrong about death, because although you can experience being ill, being sick, and the possibility of dying, you cannot experience death, because by the time death happens, you are already not conscious. If you are not conscious, it is impossible to experience death. It's impossible to experience actually going to sleep. You can experience lying down, closing your eyes and feeling tired, but you are never aware when you actually fall asleep. It is not an experience. You do not experience falling asleep. You only experience the preparations for sleeping. You only experience the preparations for death. You cannot experience death. So there is no fear in death, because it is not an experience. Neither is birth, neither is sleeping, and nor is death. It is not an experience. And so there is no fear in death. Why would you want to come back from pure consciousness into another dream world? It's ridiculous. Now, you know, some people might be able to do this in a kind of a way that a magician does it. It's ridiculous. You know, magic, you know, actions are not the actions of an enlightened being. You know, we don't perform magic. And so, you know, the idea of bringing back somebody from the dead is pointless, is ridiculous. Okay.
But you know, there was time, Marba, I think it was Marba, and also the king, where in Guru Rinpoche's time, Trisong doesn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
good heavens.
Yeah.
I know.
You
I know
the
all these
story?
stories, my love. I
And
know.
yeah, and his Trisong Dozen's daughter passed away
Yeah.
at young age, and he was very upset.
Yeah.
That time, Guru Rinpoche resurrect her life back.
I know,
So give
I know.
gave teaching.
I've heard all these stories, and they're wonderful, and they're all part of the dream story. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can create anything you like in this dream. I just say, what is the point? You know,
I'm just saying.
it's all of it. All of it is this dream story, and so you can tell me all the stories you like, and I enjoy them, and they're wonderful. There's nothing wrong with these stories, but it's all part of this dream. It's all part of this illusionary thing that we call life. What we're interested in, what we're really interested in, is something outside of this dream. Waking up, being enlightened. As I said, going to sleep is not an experience, and neither is waking up. It happens outside of the mind. Only the mind experiences things, only the self experiences things. And what I'm saying is this, that our concern should be, are we asleep? Do we want to wake up? Do we really want, you know, to lose all of this, you know, self, this dream stuff, and to wake up into pure consciousness? You see, that is being alive. Waking up to pure consciousness. It's not the death of the physical body that you should worry about. It's the death of the self, and that's what we want. We want the self to vanish, to die, to be annihilated, to fall away, so that we can know that we are pure consciousness, and that we were never born, we will never die, we will always be pure consciousness, always will be, and we are now. But right now we are living in a dream world, and we should be trying to figure out how to wake up. You see, you cannot be woken up within the dream. No matter how many teachers, spiritual teachers, gurus come and say, I can give you enlightenment, if they can, it's only within the dream. Someone has to come from outside the dream. Like when you're asleep, you're sleeping on your bed and you're dreaming, you need an alarm clock, you need a noise, you need someone to come in and shake you and wake you up. But they have to come from outside the dream. You cannot be woken up from within the dream. And so we should be concerned not with this dream, but with waking up.
Mm-hmm. So what was the point of like Guru Rinpoche? He's already outside the dream as a wisdom being,
Mm-hmm.
and why did he instruct Yeshe so?
When you say outside of the dream,
Mm-hmm.
I am saying is within your dream. He is not outside of the dream. You are dreaming him. He is within your dream. No matter what he says to you, you say to him, it is still within the dream.
So it's commonly dreamt by everyone. in the
That's
dream
right, that's
consciousness.
right. Now listen to this. This is going to shock a lot of people. Now, I
It
don't
is.
have any particular thing about any particular religion. I could talk about Christianity. I could talk about Islam. I could talk about Judaism. And I'm saying to this, that Buddhism is just the same. It is part of the dream. Everything that we hear, we have been taught that we believe about the Buddha is within the dream. Is within the dream. And that goes for every other religion and every other practice. Now, I'm not saying that it's useless. I'm saying enjoy it. It's wonderful, this dream. There's nothing wrong with this dream. But if you want to wake up, you have to see what Buddha said, what Jesus said, what Muhammad said, what Krishna said, that you are living in a dream, what Shakespeare said, what the nursery rhyme says. You know, row, row, row the boat gently down the shore, merrily, 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 right? Life is but a dream, something like that. Huh? Mm-hmm. And so this is the whole point. So, so all of this stuff is happening within the dream. Okay? So, you know, love the dream, enjoy the dream, but it's nothing to do with waking up. If you really want to wake up, let's get out of the dream, okay? But it has to come from outside of the dream. You know, you cannot be awoken from within the dream. If you are asleep and you are dreaming, and within that dream your alarm clock rings, you are not going to wake up. If somebody knocks on the door in your dream, you are not going to wake up. You have to have something which is outside of the dream, outside of the mind, to wake you up. And this is a great mystery. This is a great mystery. It will happen or it will not happen. Now, practices can happen, awakening can happen, but the two are not connected. They don't have any relationship. Practicing will not bring about enlightenment. You will not be enlightened because you practice. You may become enlightened because you are practicing, but it will be nothing to do with the practice. The practice will be nothing to do with enlightenment. You could fall down in the street and become enlightened.
Okay, it's a bit difficult to understand.
Exactly, it cannot be understood.
Beyond the dream state.
It cannot be understood. That's the whole point of it. It is beyond the mind. If it could be understood, half the people on this planet would be enlightened.
Right. So the process to get beyond this, you have to see
Is dropping
everything.
the self, understanding that that you cannot understand it with the mind. Stop trying to understand it with the mind.
Yes.
You are causing obstructions, you are causing a blockage by trying to understand it with the mind. Understand that it can't be understood. Every other religion, every other belief system, every other philosophy can be understood and explained and described, and you can then decide whether you want to believe it or not. This understanding that I have, this thing that I see, this truth that I know, cannot be described, cannot be explained, and if it could, I wouldn't believe it.
Yes, it's difficult. I can see.
Just because you can't understand it,
Even
does that
Buddha at
make it
that
difficult?
time, he achieved enlightenment. He said this is very difficult for people
Exactly.
with attachment.
There are, you
The
see, there
reason
are
is attachment.
clues. There are clues within this dream. Now I can say, Buddha gave you clues. Guru Rinpoche gave you clues. Jesus gave you clues. Krishna gave you clues. Muhammad gave you clues. Within the dream, you have clues. You have the keys to get out of it. But you're not listening. You still want to support this self, this illusionary self. All your spiritual practices are geared to reinforcing your spiritual self. It's all ego. You go to Dharma centers, you do practices, you tell people you're on a spiritual path because of your ego, because you want to reinforce yourself. While you are doing that, there is no enlightenment for you.
Okay, thank you.